Munoz.
Munoz.
There we go. See, I knew that. I have my Spanish inflection sometimes. But anyway, great fight coming up. Probably gonna be a slugfest. Can't wait to see this fight. Jeremy, we're gonna take your take on it. We're gonna get your take on this first. Who do you see winning, and how do you see the fight going?
I mean, it'd be hard not to take Munoz in this fight just because of what we've seen historically when really, really good wrestlers fight really, really good jiu-jitsu players. Mm-hmm. So it'd be hard not to take Munoz. And the thing I like about Munoz, if you haven't seen him fight, there's this kind of thing where a lot of people who watch UFC, they see a wrestler take his opponent to the ground and they're automatically like, here we go. Mark Munoz don't play games. He gets you on the ground so that he can murder you. I mean, that's his whole focus is if I put them on the ground, I can make their face explode. And so that's what he goes for. That said, Damian Maia is not scared to be on his back, obviously. This is one of those fights where the old saying, again, styles make fights. Mm-hmm. This is a fight that's made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Styles are making this fight. You've got the best ground and pound guy in the division versus the best jiu-jitsu player in the division. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an outstanding fight from that point of view. I lean Munoz, though, because of that ability to actually inflict direct, immediate punishment when it goes to the ground.
You've got to love the mental pictures that Jeremy puts in your head. He gets you on the ground, and he's going to make your face explode. I just love the way that Jeremy presents fights sometimes.
He's a Filipino wrecking machine.
Yeah, he's the Filipino wrecking machine. Now, John, we're going to get your take on this next. Who do you see winning, and how do you see the fight going?
Well, I like Maia. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people have forgotten about just how dominant he can be on the ground. Came in, won his first 5 fights by submission, and then has been in a little bit of a drought since then with submissions. But he's still phenomenal. He's an artisan at the grappling game, and it's a very scary fight because Munoz can definitely just get on top of you and end a fight very quickly. Mm-hmm. He's got grenades in his hands, especially when he knows where to place them, and he's just got you in a bad situation. But Maia is definitely someone that's not scared to go down to the ground, and I think that he's going to come back and surprise everybody by winning this one with a submission. And definitely, I don't think he's getting near the respect that he should when it comes to his ground game.
Did y'all plan that? Face exploding, grenades in his hand. Did y'all plan that?
We worked on that for 3 hours before the show.
Well, anyway, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go Munoz, too. I just see, like Jeremy said, and like you said also, he's a very disruptive fighter on the ground. He gets on top of you, it's pretty much over. Maia, I haven't really heard a lot from him since, he fought Silva back in the day. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back and he'll surprise the crowd. But I'm going
to count on
it. And Maia, Maia, respect where respect's due. Maia was a top guy in that weight class before the Silva fight, and Silva made him look silly. Mm-hmm. But that said, Damian Maia is a guy that needs to fight from range where he can shoot on you, and it's kind of hard to do against Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva's not just any other guy. Anderson Silva's made a lot of people look foolish. He's made a 205-pound champion look foolish.
Yes.
So, it happens.
And, okay, well, on that note, guys, we're going to go to our next fight now, one that I'm very excited about, Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Wagner, I guess that's Sierra, I believe, Rocha.
Wagner.
I'm definitely leaning Cowboy the whole way. Wagner is actually a pretty good fighter. A lot of people might not know about him, but he don't sleep on this guy because he could come out and do some damage. But Cowboy, man, how can you not love Cowboy Cerrone, man? He just comes out in that cowboy hat and the boots, and he just lives it up. He lives his nickname up completely. I think he does that in every day. He probably takes a shower in that hat. I'm pretty sure. John, we're gonna get your take on this fight first.
Cowboy, you love it. He just reminds me of Jared Allen rolling around in cowboy gear all the time. He's in your face. He's what you want in a top athlete, someone who's going to be exciting, get people excited, come out with a cowboy hat. I wish he'd come out with the torso, whip, throw that around too. Maybe
riding a bull.
Come in on his horse, let a couple casts go, catch one of them, hog tie him up, and then get his gloves checked, go in the ring. But, he's a malicious fighter. He's sick, he's mean, and, he's a scary guy to go up against. I think he's not going to have any trouble.
All right, Jeremy, before we get into this break, go ahead and give your view on this fight and how you think it's going to end.
This is where I usually go contrarian, just for the sake of it, just to enjoy
Good word,
myself.
Contrarian, I like that.
Cerrone, though, if you look at Cerrone's career, there's a very simple way to beat Cerrone. That's to control him wrestling. Rocha doesn't have that level of wrestling. Mm-hmm. to me, it's a complete mismatch. I Cerrone all day.
Sorry, Hocha, excuse me, I did mispronounce his name a little earlier. Sorry about that. I know I get mad when people call me Bernard. So, yes, sorry about that.
I'll put that in the mental Rolodex. Good to know.
You know this already. Anyway, we're going to go into tap, snap, or nap, and I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy. We haven't done this in a while, guys, so I hope you enjoy. Jeremy, take it away.
This isn't quite as obscure as a lot of our clips have been in the past. These are two very well-known fighters, and for that reason, you might have seen this before. It's not necessarily a well-known fight, but the fighters are well-known, so that kind of makes it well-known. Anyway, our fight here, old school UFC, Vitor Belfort versus Wanderlei Silva. Like I said, two future Hall of Famers early in their career. We're going to go to break. When we come back, you'll see tap, snap, or nap.
Welcome back to your final segment of Off the Mat. As always, I'm joined by John Arcuyo to my right and Jeremy Hurt to my left. Let's get into these last two fights in this card. Actually, my bad. Excuse me. We're going to get into tap, snap, or nap first. Let Jeremy, finish his tap, snap, or nap segment. I'm sorry about that, guys. Jeremy, take it away.
Vitor versus Wanderlei. Let's get back to that. Tap, snap, or nap. What's going to happen? I would qualify that. I guess you could go nap or snap. Either way, bad day for Wanderlei. Bad day. Wasn't necessarily. Whenever Wanderlei's calling it a day on his career, he's not going to be like, make sure you play that Vitor highlight.
Whenever he comes up, then they're going to bring up the Vitor fight. I would qualify that as a nap. This TKO called the fight, so.
He did snap him, though.
Yeah,
That had
to be like, I don't know, 16 punches, something like that. I don't know. It's probably one of the greatest rushes I've ever seen.
Mortal Kombat 12-punch combo or something.
What do you call those?
That was some Liu Kang.
Brutalities? Yeah, it was like a brutality. Vitor by brutality. Anyway, we're going to get to these last two fights, guys. Kenny Florian versus Diego Nunes. And, man, I'm really excited about this fight. Winner of this fight gets to fight Jose Aldo. Jose is out longer than expected with injury, so he's not even going to get to fight Chad Mendez. He's just going to get to fight the winner of this fight. So, Jeremy, we're going to take your take on this first. Who do you have, and how do you see it going?
Kenny Florian. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Kenny Florian on the personal side of the house ever since, the first season of The Ultimate Fighter. That said, you can't say anything about who the guy is as a fighter. Incredible Muay Thai. Works the elbows from the ground, has a great guard. I mean, he's rounded in every area. Obviously, Nunes has a good history. I think he went 6-1 in the WEC, beat Mike Thomas Brown. So, I mean, he's got good history behind him. But Florian's just a little bit better pretty much everywhere.
Right, John, let's get your take on this fight. Who do you think is going to win, and how do you think the fight's going to go?
I hate to have to agree, but 100% I do. I think K-Flo is just, he's a better fighter. And he's been around. He knows. He's been in situations that Nunes hasn't and fought his way through them. He's a guy who's on Ultimate Fighter first round, and I fell in love with him right away. He's a hard worker and just a great ambassador of MMA.
Man, you guys bring up really great points. I'm a huge Kenny Florian fan, though. I don't know how you guys aren't fans of the guy. I love Kenny Florian. He hosts MMA Live on ESPN.
Oh my God.
He's a great... You know what, John? Stay over there. Anyway, I like Kenny Florian.
Something of a dreamboat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say all that. Nah, I'm not even going to go that far. But anyway, I'm a huge fan of Kenny Florian, but I also like Mr. Nunes too. He's actually a training partner of Jose Aldo, and if they fight, Jose has actually came out and said that y'all are gonna have to pony up a lot of money for me to have to fight my brother over there. So I'm gonna have to go with Nunes, man. I gotta disagree with you guys. Nunes wants it. Kenny is very hungry, and he's the only fighter I think in UFC history to fight in 4 weight classes. And that is absolutely amazing.
To reiterate, while I'm not a big personal fan of Kenny Florian, this is a guy that finished in the finale of The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 at middleweight. And now he's fighting at 145. So,
featherweight,
that's quite a difference.
Run that through the old hamster wheel and see what comes out the other side. It's impressive. Very
Unfortunately,
impressive.
It's not even really going to matter because, unless Dana, let some stipulation go where it could be kind of like a 2-on-1 fight against Aldo, neither of these guys are really going to have much of a chance. But it will be a good fight at least.
Maybe if they make Aldo get drunk first and then give Florian some bathtub crank, I could say even money there, but it's a tough fight for either of these guys for sure.
Exactly. Well, coming up on the end of the show, guys, we're going to get into this main event really quickly, and we're going to toss you out on a promo that I'm really happy about that the UFC makes. I always love seeing UFC's promos. But anyway, getting into this main event, Junior Dos Santos versus Shane Carwin. Now, this fight is a replacement fight. Well, I guess Shane Carwin is a replacement for Brock Lesnar, but is that necessarily a bad thing, Jeremy? What do you think?
I think it's a much better fight, much better fight. I think this has the potential to be one of those great heavyweight fights that you'll love to see on, UFC Unleashed on Thursday at 2 a.m. It's two guys. It's two guys who will absolutely stand and bang. And then you have that other aspect of it where Dos Santos has proven almost impossible to hold down, and Carwin is a former All-American national champion level wrestler. And on their feet, Dos Santos, obviously incredible boxer, probably the best boxer at that weight class. Uses his angles, has a great uppercut. The difference is Shane Carwin could touch you once and turn your lights off, just like that immediately. The amazing thing here, both of these guys are 12-1. I believe it's 3 fights have gone outside of the first round of the two combined in those 26 fights. So I mean, don't say, oh, Dos Santos and Carwin's on, I'm going to go mow the lawn. It's not worth it. Believe me, this is a fight to see.
Make sure you stay in your seats, guys. John, we're going to go ahead and get your take on this fight. Who do you think is going to win, and how do you think the fight's going to go?
Well, it's a tough one to pick. Like Jeremy said, they're just kind of opposite fighters. Dos Santos, the obvious, more talented, more well-rounded fighter, but it doesn't have that one-touch punch that can just put you out and end the fight that quickly. It's going to be exciting. I'm leaning towards Carwin just because he has that ability, and he's the kind of fighter that Dos Santos hasn't been involved with very much. He hasn't had a guy who can just put him on a bed in 2 seconds flat. But I do think it's going to be a tough fight. I don't think that there is going to be a knockout. I think it's going to go the distance, but I think I'm going to have to go with Dos Santos outworking him on the cards.
I couldn't disagree more with the idea that this thing's going to the cards. This thing ain't going to the cards, folks. Personally, I'd like to see Shane Carwin. He's a little bit bigger. I'd like to see him initiate contact and try to use his weight a little bit to wear Dos Santos down, because he is a little slower in the stand-up and it's not as refined as Dos Santos is. So he's going to have to kind of set up his punch. But I do like Carwin. I think he's going to knock Dos Santos out.
You know what? I like Dos Santos a lot. His strikes are a lot more precision based. They're pinpoint accurate. Carwin, he doesn't have to catch you pinpoint accurately. He can just knock you out. If his pinky catches you, you're probably gonna fall. So not sure who I want to lean with on this. Carwin is a very hungry fighter after losing to Brock Lesnar, gassing himself out. He wants to prove that he is not one of those guys who's just going to gas himself out looking for the knockout. He wants to prove that he is a top-tier fighter. Junior Dos Santos, coming off The Ultimate Fighter, great coach, knows a lot about the sport and how to fight and how to take on certain people and use their advantages against them. And I see him outworking Shane Carwin that way. I see him taking Carwin's power and taking, the fear that most people would get inside of them, instilled in them by Carwin, and using that against him, letting him throw his strikes, kind of moving out of the way, using that speed against Carwin. I see Dos Santos coming away with this fight. He has KO power in his hands. He might not have as much as Carwin, but he does have KO power. We've seen it before.
I hope y'all aren't going to try and cheat me on the thing. Let's just make sure we get this all written down.
Jeremy is still on those fights.
He just can't handle, week after week with these crazy predictions. I foresee a reenactment of Rocky 3 with Mr. T just swinging as hard as he can, and Dos Santos just getting out of the way and working his game. So I'm going to have to go with Dos Santos.
All right, guys, great show this week, man. Great. I was really entertained and loved it up here this week. We're getting pretty awesome at this. Not to toot our own horn.
That's why I do it.
It's not for the paycheck, okay?
What paycheck?
Exactly.
All right, guys, we're going to leave you with a promo for UFC 131. Until next time, we'll see you at the fights.
That is one big dude.
When size meets size and power meets power.
Oh, he got nailed!
Only one thing will matter. Who lands first?
Oh, my goodness!
22 combined first-round finishes.
Wow!
And 12 total knockouts.
Junior Dos Santos is a scary man.
Junior Dos Santos.
Unbelievable!
Shane Carwin.
Oh, he got knocked. He's out. against Cain Velasquez for the UFC heavyweight title.
And the first man to ever fight in 4 different weight classes, Kenny Florian makes his featherweight debut against 16-1 Diego Nunes. While Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Damian Maia takes on the Filipino wrecking machine, Mark Munoz.
That is some serious